935-2100 for MR Systems Wireless.
Strange things happen when October comes to Clinton, Illinois. Spooky yet intriguing events encircle the town. Experience the madness for yourself. Friday and Saturday nights, October 4th through the 26th at the Clinton Area Chamber of Commerce. Terror on Washington Street Haunted House. 513 East Washington Street in Clinton. For more info, go to clintonhauntedhouse.com. Visit us if you dare.
News time, 8 minutes after 8 o'clock on this Friday. Top of the morning from the newsroom of Regional Radio and DeWittDailyNews.com. I'm Seth Lawrence with this expanded 8 o'clock newscast. We stream to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. The annual Apple and Pork Festival is the year's biggest event in Clinton, but what makes it so popular and why is it important to the community? Joey Long is the director of the DeWitt County Museum and C.H. Moore Homestead. She explains the festival is important to the homestead because it serves as a fundraiser for the upkeep and restoration of the grounds.
Well, the Apple and Pork Festival was established in 1967, and it was a way to generate the funds that were necessary to be able to restore the old house that's now the C.H. Moore Mansion, and a way to be able to provide the funds to also make it operable as a museum. So it started with just a little fundraiser out on the front lawn, just one kettle of ham and beans and one stack of sandwiches, and from there you can see with your own eyes. It's 10 acres here and then another several acres, up at the fairgrounds, just full of people and stands, and a wonderful event, and it keeps the museum going.
Over time, the Apple and Pork Festival became so popular, the Museum Association began inviting local nonprofits to come and sell food to raise money for their programs. The Apple and Pork attendees also have the opportunity to experience the inside of the homestead on a tour.
What to expect if you're in for a tour. You're greeted at the front door, and we give you a sheet of paper, and it numbers each room. So you just kind of go through number by number, room to room to room, and the sheet of paper tells you a little bit about the house and its history, or anything of particular interest in that room.
All of these aspects of the Apple and Pork Festival speak to its importance to the community. In Long's words, it brings unification to Clinton, and it does this by spreading the town's history while raising money that supports Clinton's nonprofits. As many know, college tuition can be a big deal, but a local nonprofit is trying to help relieve some of that stress. Chris Schaefer with the Clinton Community Education Foundation explains they will have a booth at the College Career Trades Fair later this month. They will be sharing information on all their different scholarships available.
We're hoping all the parents of seniors will make sure their students stop by our booth at the College Career Trades Fair. That's going to be afternoon of October 16th at the high school. We are going to be sharing information about all of the scholarships are available for graduating seniors. And we want to make sure that people are aware we've got scholarships for lots of different reasons, for the traditional four-year college, but as well as students who are pursuing a career field in vocational technical fields as well. Mm-hmm. And right now we have up to 10 scholarships, and we have 2 or 3 more in the works.
Schaefer notes they also have scholarships for students in a variety of situations. They're not just for students at the top of their class. For more information on the CCEF scholarships, visit ccef15.org. Coming up in sports on this Friday, it's a football Friday. We've got a look at the Week 6 of the high school football season. Clinton travels to Tri-Valley for a tough matchup with the Vikings, while Monticello visits Rantoul.
Covenant Animal Clinic in Clinton now has a new online store for your pet's medicine and supplies. Hi, this is Dr. Seuster inviting you to check out our new online store at covenantanimalclinicil.com, or just click on our icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
ServPro of Piatt DeWitt Counties is the leader in fire, water, and mold restoration. See all the many services they can offer your home or business by clicking their icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Time now for a look at sports. I'm Seth Lawrence with this report. Last week, Clinton faced a tough loss to Eureka at home, 19-14. Maroons head coach Ron Bass felt his team put up a good fight, but failed to make more big plays than the Hornets. There were high winds during the game, but Coach Bass believes it did not make a big impact on who won the game.
Eureka was a solid team, and they just made a few more plays than we did. Defensively, a couple big plays still hurt us, so we got to shore up those big plays, and not be so easy on their offense. I don't think it was that big of a deal. I don't know. I think both teams still passed in the wind because we were not throwing the ball down the field. So I don't think it was a huge deal. I think it made a difference maybe in the kicking game a little bit, but as far as decision making goes. But no, I don't think it was a huge factor.
Coach Bass also feels they are facing some injuries this week. Dawson Thayer suffered a lower leg injury, and Anthony Westbrooks is still healing from his separated shoulder. Offensive coordinator John Johnson has been in the hospital as well, so the next man up mindset is something players and coaches are focused on.
Well, yeah, we had quite a bit of adversity this week, so we've been trying to focus on dealing with adversity. We lost Dawson Thayer that last week to a leg injury. I doubt that he plays, so we'll be down him, and we're still down to Anthony Westbrook. And then we're down our offensive coordinator. Our offensive coordinator John Johnson's been in the hospital the last week dealing with complications with diabetes. Coach Whistler and Coach Patterson are going to be running our offense. So we've been kind of learning about each other this week, and I told the kids, hey, good, we've got some adversity. There's some good things that we can come out of this.
This week, the Maroons will focus on slowing down Tri-Valley's run game. They have a successful offense that Clinton has played before, and Coach Bass is instilling in his players they can overcome a strong team like this.
Well, we got to try to slow down their run game. Their run game's fantastic with Cole Klein running, Tommy Harris running the ball. Those guys are solid ball players, and they do have some passing threats with Cade Danko at receivers. So, they're a well-rounded offense. They probably won't pass too much because they can run the ball so well. But so we got to do our best to try to slow down that run game, and then for us, we got to be able to run the ball. We want to try to utilize the clock as much as possible and run the ball as effectively as possible. Well, I think one thing that we found is, hey, you can play with these guys. It was a close game for most of that game, and so it's one of those things that we battled really well against a really good ball club last year, and that my hopes is that we're going to continue to do that and keep battling, and you never know what's going to happen while we play these games. Like a bounce the ball here, a fumble there, an interception there. You never know what's going to happen.
The Maroons make the trip to Downs this week to take on the 4-1 Vikings. Hear all the action starting at 7 o'clock right here on WHOW and all our digital platforms. Tonight in the heart of Central Illinois Conference, Ridgeview at Lexington is at Eureka. El Paso Gridley is at Shelbyville. DMAC hosts Tremont. GCMS travels to Tuscola. Meridian hosts Leroy. Fieldcrest is at Fisher. And Warrensburg Latham plays host to Central A&M. After coasting to an easy 49-0 win on homecoming night last Friday, Monticello will travel to Rantoul tonight for an Illini Prairie Conference matchup. Head coach Coley Welter was pleased with his team did things better last week, especially after Pontiac showed some early signs of life on offense. He was pleased his team took advantage of some Pontiac miscues in the third quarter that allowed the Sages to go up big.
Yeah, pretty pleased for the most part. Our assignments were a little better, still need to improve in that area. But outside of the first defensive stand, when they got a couple first downs, pretty much stymied them the rest of the night and took control of the game and just kind of methodically put the game away. So I thought, obviously, things that can be improved upon, but for the most part, a good performance by our kids. But yeah, I would say the last 2 weeks, I hope that that continues, of course. Yes, I think Pontiac stubbed their toe, but it was that we did take advantage of each situation. I think we were up 21-0 at halftime, and we challenged them to get a running clock before the end of the third quarter, and I think we scored 4 touchdowns and 5 or 6 minutes. And again, a lot of that had to do with Pontiac's miscues. But to your point, I think our kids took advantage of the situation. I hope that's something we continue to do.
While Rantoul has a new coach leading the program, Coach Welter notes numbers are up in their program, and they are enjoying the excitement of their first win since 2019 a couple weeks ago.
Well, they have another new coach, but I know that their numbers are way up from last year, and as you said, they're coming off the excitement a couple weeks ago of a first win in a number of years. So, with that kind of excitement, always gives them a little bit more confidence, and we know they're going to be a pretty balanced offense. They throw it and pass it pretty evenly. Defensively, they're very aggressive. They're a 3-3 stack. They'll show blitz a lot. They'll bring guys a lot, even when they're not blitzing. They'll just kind of run downhill and just kind of chase. So they got to be prepared for their aggressiveness on defense. They run the ball pretty well. The running back's a pretty solid kid. Their quarterback can run and pass a little bit. They got a couple guys that can be deep threat. Do have to be careful. They will take shots. I know that's they got a big pass play against Pontiac in their win a couple weeks ago. And so, I just they do everything a little decently well. I wouldn't say there's one thing that stands out above the rest, though.
The Sages will need to limit the big plays on both sides of the ball. Game time tonight in Rantoul is 7 p.m. Hear the action on 95.9 FM WEZC and online at DeWittDailyNews.com. Tonight in the Illini Prairie Conference, Prairie Central is at PBL. St. Joe Ogden travels to BCC. Pontiac plays host to Tolono Unity. Tonight in the Apollo Conference, Mattoon hosts Charleston. Effingham is at Taylorville, and Mahomet Seymour visits Mount Zion. Big 12 action this week. Urbana hosts Champaign Centennial. Danville is at Champaign Central. Normal Community takes on Bloomington in a crosstown rivalry. Peoria Notre Dame takes on Peoria Manual, and Peoria Richwoods battles Peoria. Central State 8 action this week. Normal U-High plays host to Chatham Glenwood. Decatur Eisenhower is at Rochester. Lincoln plays host to Decatur MacArthur. Jacksonville is at Springfield. Quincy Notre Dame will host Springfield Lanphier. And Springfield Sacred Heart Griffin takes on Springfield Southeast on Saturday. Lincoln Prairie action this week. Alla is at Nokomis. Sullivan Okaw Valley hosts Sangamon Valley. Tri-County is at Argenta Orienta. Toledo Cumberland travels to Arcola, and Cerro Gordo Bemint hosts Villa Grove. In the Mid-Illini this week, Dunlap plays host to Canton. Metamora is at Pekin. Limestone hosts Morton, and Washington is at East Peoria. In the Sangamo this week, Auburn is at Porta. Maroa Forsyth travels to Pittsfield. Olympia hosts New Berlin. Riverton plays host to Pleasant Plains. And Williamsville is at Athens. Non-conference action this week. Aurora Waubonsee Valley is at Normal West. Decatur St. Teresa travels to St. Louis Principia Whitfield of Missouri on Saturday, and Hayworth is at Rushville Industry. 8-man football this week. Saturday action. Champaign St. Thomas More plays host to Danville Schlarman. Decatur Unity Christian is at Milford, and St. Anne travels to Blue Ridge. Another in-state rivalry renews on Saturday when 18th-ranked Illinois State heads to Carbondale to take on 19th-ranked Southern Illinois in a key matchup between a pair of ranked squads looking to keep pace in the Missouri Valley Football Conference. The Redbirds dropped a 42-10 decision to second-ranked North Dakota State last week at its homecoming game. SIU has dropped its last two, a 38-21 loss to rival Southeast Missouri State 2 weeks ago, and a 42-13 loss to South Dakota in the Missouri Valley opener. The Salukis are without starting quarterback DJ Williams, who is sidelined after surgery following the team's third game of the season. Hunter Simmons is now at the helm and completing 57% of his passes with 692 yards in the air and 3 touchdowns. Eastern Illinois hosts 13th-ranked Southeast Missouri Saturday for the Panthers' 2024 homecoming contest. This will be EIU's second game this season against a nationally ranked opponent. The Panthers lost at home last weekend to Lindenwood, dropping their Big South OVC opener, falling to 1-4 overall and 0-1 in the conference. Southeast Missouri has won 3 in a row with a non-conference shutout win over Northwestern State. The Redhawks enter 4-1 overall and 1-0 in the conference. Pierce Hawley passed for 326 yards and a touchdown Saturday against Lindenwood, marking the third time in his EIU career he's thrown for 300 yards or more. MJ Flowers posted his second 100-yard rushing game this season, finishing with 123 yards on the ground against Lindenwood. Game time from Charleston is 2 p.m. Saturday afternoon. Hear the action starting with the pregame at 1:30 here on WHOW and all its digital platforms. Caleb Williams and the 2-2 Bears will try to build on some progress they showed last week when they host Andy Dalton and the 1-3 Carolina Panthers on Sunday. Chicago displayed the explosiveness and efficiency in a win over the LA Rams last week that GM Ryan Poles envisioned when he overhauled his offense. The Panthers have gotten a spark from Dalton since he took over for former number 1 pick Bryce Young 2 weeks ago and will try to bounce back from a loss to Cincinnati. The two teams, of course, are inextricably linked in a blockbuster deal prior to the 2023 season. Carolina sent receiver DJ Moore and the number 9 pick to Chicago for the top selection in the draft that year. The Bears also got the Panthers' 2024 first-rounder that wound up being the number 1 overall pick and a second-rounder in 2025. Carolina opted to draft Young with the top pick in 2023 rather than C.J. Stroud in a move that so far has backfired. While Stroud quickly established himself as a star, the Panthers benched Young 18 starts into his career. Carolina fired former coach Frank Reich last season and former GM Scott Fitterer at the end of the season. For the Bears, the deal is looking even better. They signed Moore to a 4-year extension in July after he led the team with 96 receptions for 1,364 yards and 8 touchdowns last season. They drafted a potential franchise quarterback in Williams and got several contributions as a result of the trade with Carolina and a series of subsequent moves. Those players include right tackle Darnell Wright, cornerback Tyreek Stevenson, and punter Torrey Taylor. The Panthers lost both of their starting inside linebackers to injury in last week's loss to Cincinnati, leaving them extremely thin at the position. Shaq Thompson tore his Achilles tendon and will miss the rest of the season, while Josie Jewell injured his hamstring and groin and is expected to be out at least a couple of weeks. That means Trevin Wallace and Claudine Charoulis have a combined 6 NFL tackles in their career and are expected to get the start. The Bears offense took some time to get going last week. Chicago then scored on 4 straight possessions, including 3 touchdowns. Williams completed 17 of 23 passes for 157 yards and a touchdown while posting a 106.6 rating that has been one of the best. The Bears had a season-high 131 yards rushing last week with DeAndre Swift running for 93 and added 72 yards receiving. Chicago will try to build on all that going against a defense that ranks among the NFL's worst. The Panthers are expected to lean heavily Sunday on running back Chuba Hubbard, who had back-to-back 100-yard rushing games. He's averaging 5.8 yards per carry over the past 3 and has developed into a solid receiving option after struggling in that area as a rookie. He has caught 13 of 14 passes thrown his way for 84 yards and a touchdown. He became the first Panthers running back to surpass the century mark in rushing in consecutive games since Deontay Foreman in the 2022 season. Chicago's defense continues to play at a high level. That group ranks 10th overall and is tied for 8th against the pass. The Bears held Matthew Stafford to a 77.4 passer rating and sacked him 3 times last week. Safety Jaquan Brisker had the game-sealing interception with about a minute remaining. Deontay Johnson Johnson developed into the clear number one option in the Panthers offense, just as Canales had planned before the season. Over the past 2 weeks with Andy Dalton at quarterback, he's been targeted 27 times and has 15 catches for 205 yards and 2 touchdowns. Game time is noon on Sunday. Jordan Love gets the closest thing he'll probably have to an NFL homecoming Sunday when his Green Bay Packers visit the LA Rams, whose struggling defense has made every opposing quarterback feel right at home this season. Cheeseheads finally will be seen in the stands at Rams owner Stan Kroenke's palatial stadium this weekend to herald the first visit by the Packers, whose most recent game in Southern California happened a year before at SoFi Stadium. On the field, the Packers will be looking to rebound from last week's loss to Minnesota, in which they fell behind 28-0 before a rally that came up short. Love returned from a 2-game absence with a knee injury to pass for career highs of 389 yards and 4 touchdowns, albeit with 3 picks during the failed comeback. Love and the Packers' third-ranked offense looks like trouble for the Rams, who have the NFL's second-worst defense through 4 games, allowing 385 yards. A regression was expected with the retirement of Aaron Donald and departure of coordinator Raheem Morris, but LA is struggling to be competitive, allowing nearly 29 points per game, also the second worst mark in the league. The game features another matchup between Matt LaFleur and his younger brother, Rams offensive coordinator Mike LaFleur. The two have faced off several times before, including the Rams lost at Green Bay last year. The Rams season would look much better if the offense could finish drives. LA is 7 for 17 in the red zone this season after going 1 for 4 last week in a winnable game at Chicago. Sean McVay's play calling has been criticized in short field situations throughout most of his stellar coaching career, and the Rams' 8th-year coach knows everything needs to get better despite the absence of injured receivers Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua, who would be among Matthew Stafford's best choices in tough situations. Packers rookie Braden Narvison was 0 for 2 on field goal attempts at Minnesota with misses from 37 and 49. He is 9 of 13 this season without any attempts beyond 50 yards. Game time is 3:25 Sunday afternoon. Get sports anytime from your computer or mobile device at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Science-backed is biological. Research-driven is biological. Real-world testing is biological. When biologicals are backed by Mosaic, you can count on products that are rooted firmly in science.